let's have a look at a NEC replay. Coming down the straight. When did the tyre problem surface? Just then.
Not a nice spot for it to happen for George. That'd give him something to think about tonight. Ooh. He has a look up in the mirror. A mark of the champion and the driver that he can rescue a situation like that from about probably 150 odd mile an hour at the end of that straight.
Yeah, keep it under control at that speed and under brakes as well. Great effort. Brock goes by. Peter Brock and Alan Moffat, whilst not in a position to threaten Dick Johnson in this race, at least at this stage, are the winningest drivers in touring car races at Sandown over the years. They've each won 4 races here in the Touring Car Championship, with other races here as well.
Here comes George Fury.
So this brings Larry Perkins to 3rd, Bagnall to 4th, Richards to 5th. And a frantic but sort of semi-futile stop now for the Nissan team. But valuable development will come out of today's race. They want to go right through to the end. Hot, hard work.
There is.
You can see that George isn't too impressed, and neither should he be. Just an unfortunate situation. And they take...
Whoa! Goodness me. Get those jacks up.
Oh, gee, that's dangerous. He ended up losing fingers in all that.
What happened? Well, it was like this, George. They put one on the back too.
Precaution of extra rubber.
So anytime you read this, make sure they're tucking the inside ones off now. George takes off. That really has cost him. There goes John Bowe through, so he goes down a lap automatically. Fury comes back out in the race running 16th, and an anxious moment or so for the guy changing. Have a look at this on our NEC replay. The guy's just adjusting, then all of a sudden he would have had his fingers up the top part of the wheel.
Well, you lost them.
Well, you saw it. Close-up pit work here at Sandown as John Bowe continues to run in 2nd spot behind Dick Johnson. Larry Perkins still back there in 3rd.
And he's about half a lap down, incidentally.
So it looks like another Dick Johnson race here today at Sandown International Raceway. Placings, Dick Johnson, the race leader, John Bowe in 2nd. Correct that, that is right. Tony Longhurst back into 3rd. Perkins is 4th and Andrew Bagnall is 5th. And you're all welcome back to Sandown International Raceway, lap 17 of 32 in round 7 of the Shell Ultra Australian Touring Car Championship. Dick Johnson of Queensland leads comfortably from teammate John Bowe. Tony Longhurst still runs in 3rd spot. Larry Perkins is 4th. The race really hasn't changed all that much up the front.
The gaps between them, 1st to 2nd, 4.5 seconds, and John Bowe is catching Dick, and remember he had a spin, or a bit of a lose at least. 6.4 seconds then from John back to Tony Longhurst, and then a massive 23.9 seconds from Longhurst back to Larry Perkins, who still defends from Bagnall, Richards and Moffat.
So Dick has in fact knocked that very big gap that he held over Bowe back to something quite reasonable now. Only thing is though, John's a teammate and can't pass him. It was Tony Longhurst, we could all get excited about it.
1.6 seconds incidentally from Larry Perkins to Andrew Bagnall. And Richards and Moffat keep swapping spots over and over. So there's a big charge here from John Bowe. He may not be in a position to go punch for the lead, but I don't know whether there are in fact any team orders. This is the scrap between Moffat and Richards. It's been going on and on and on. A couple of absolute professionals. One with a bit more horsepower, the other one probably with a bit more grip and braking and cornering capacity. And the end result's about the same, as you can see.
Real cat and mouse stuff, isn't it? Two of the best Richards and Moffat going hard at it.
Jim's car sliding about a bit, the battle for 6th and 7th.
It's not bad, at least it's a dice.
So in front of these fellas, Bagnall, just marginally, and about 1 seconds further in front of Bagnall, we've got Larry Perkins. There's Bagnall, and these two.
Watch this again as Jim tries to get a little snap over Allen as they come onto the straight. Just watch the Sierra. Straight past.
He waves to Allen.
And now what he'll try and do is snap in behind here. I think Allen's got him once and for all now. Allen goes waltzing around under brakes here, and Richard says, ha 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 ha, down the inside, gotcha again.
The crowd's enjoying it. They're right into it at the moment. There's not much else to cheer about. Aren't any great scraps on. That is, of course, unless you're a Dick Johnson fan, there's plenty to cheer about.
Phew, it's taken Moffat a while to finally get past and establish himself ahead of Richards. He might have it now.
Peter Brock, no doubt, would love to be a part of this battle. He's just back from these fellas. In fact, I'll get a gap.
Even there, Allen hasn't been able to stretch it out over Richards, and Richards will now make life unbearable again for him down through the...
Whilst Allen's got the horsepower, you still need to be able to come out of the turns quick, and for some reason he may not have the grip that he really wants, or the handling that he really wants at the moment. That's retarding the forward speed where it needs it. Terminal speed at the end of these straights is very much determined by your entry speed. Brock, incidentally, is about 15.5 seconds behind these two. So he's missing out about 3 or 4 tenths a lap in terms of comparison to Jim. And that's what it does in a race like this. It doesn't sound like much when you just roll it off the tongue, a couple of tenths here, a couple of tenths there, but string them together on 15 laps around something like Sandown, all of a sudden you've got plenty of daylight. And that's the frustrating part about motor racing, and finding those tenths in your tyres and your car set up, and sometimes in yourself. It's very frustrating.
Speaking from experience?
That'd be self-indulgent.
Actually, I feel sorry for the rest of the field, because really Dick Johnson and Bauer really like McLaren in Formula One this year. They've got the wood over everyone else. There's Astro Boy down the back of the pack. He'd be loving this. Not likely.
Yeah, like hitting himself on the thumb with a hammer, I'd reckon.
Yep. There's a few frustrated drivers around this season. Peter Brock, of course. Let's take a look. Oh, that's much better. 9 times winner of the Bathurst 1000. Also the Sandown 500. First in the 74, 78 and 80 Australian Touring Car Championship. And currently 5th in the ATCC on 36 points. Is that courtesy of Nissan? Nissan know-how. Peter Brock.
I always said you could see through Brock.
Yes, Brock and Moffat, as I mentioned before, they've been the dominant drivers in the Touring Car Championship. If you look at the record books since its inception, 170 races run, and these guys have won the majority of them.
Wilco's tapped a vein of information.
Yes, I have. Brock's won 32 races, in fact, and Moffat 32 races. That's not bad, is it?
No, they are an amazing combination. It was fantastic when the two of them were teamed up in the Mobile Holden dealer team in the Commodore a couple of years ago. Brock's running the championship so far at 6th, but then disqualified from that first round, the airbox irregularity at Calder. A 5th, Simmons, a 7th at Winton. Made a pit stop there after he got a blistered tyre. 4th at Wanneroo, 6th Adelaide, and then 5th at Lakeside last weekend.
Well, a fellow who obviously has been used to racing with Peter Brock and with Alan Moffat last year, John Harvey, who we don't see too much of on the racetrack these days, but Peter McKay's with him in the pits.
Yes, that's right. We haven't seen John Harvey around a motor racing circuit for a little while. I guess he's been very busy punching out the new Holden Commodore Group ASS. Is that right?
That's correct, Peter. We've been very busy on that program. It's obviously a little bit behind where we would like it to be. It's a big effort for everybody, and we're committed to it, and obviously we'll have the cars homologated later than we would have expected, but the cars will run here at the Sandown 500 in September for the first time.
Well, a young guy like you surely wouldn't have given up hopes of racing a motor car in this bicentennial year. What have you got planned?
Well, I'll definitely be at Bathurst or in the endurance races in a Commodore. I'm not quite sure at this stage which one, but rest assured I'll be there. Yeah, put a little bit more excitement back into it, I think. I think it needs that.
You've had a bit of a look at this race today. It looks very much like the Sierras have an edge on the Holdens. How do you think the new car will go?
Yes, well, obviously they're the car to beat at the moment. They're in their third year of development. It is showing. We've got it ahead of us, but I think certainly at Bathurst, the Commodore will be a threat. There's no doubt about that. It's always been a happy hunting ground for Commodore, and I don't think this year will be any different, although it's going to be hard work against the Sierras. They're going well, particularly the first 2 or 3. But these are short races. Bathurst is 1,000 kilometres, and I think they need to have pressure put on them, and I hope we can do it. I think we can.
There you have it. Fords might be up there right at the moment, but there's a lot of hope for the Holden fans yet.
I sincerely hope so on behalf of the Holden fans. Just hope that homologation program speeds up a little bit. I think I mentioned last week it's taking longer than the Fitzgerald inquiry. There's Murray Carter going through, and the baby car class, little Toyotas.
Drew Price, the leader of that at the moment, car number 32, although that's John Smith at the wheel of the 32 car. These guys all are cross-ended and they jump in and out of various vehicles. You've got to be careful, you've got to look carefully. But Smithy at the wheel at the moment.
He leads the small car championship series, a mile in front, John Smith.
And the big talk, of course, is that Johnny Smith will be joining Dick Johnson's outfit for Bathurst, so we'll see him stepping up to probably partner John Bowe. I think that's an excellent move. Be good to see Johnny Smith up in an outright car again.
Yeah.
There's the old guy, Murray Carter. Used to tool custom lines around here. Probably used that helmet as well. Murray in the Netcom machine. Another guy who's talking about going to a Sierra very, very shortly. About to have a lap put on him by Dick Johnson, who just sits back behind him. But Murray enjoys his motor racing. In the meantime, Alan Moffat is catching Andrew Bagnall, who is catching Larry Perkins, and they're being caught at this stage by Jimmy Richards. So Bagnall opened the gap up. We're on lap 21 of 32, round 7 of the Shell Ultra Nationals from Sandown. Moffat actually might be suited by a 500k race or a 1000k race because he drives himself into it.
I'm sure he will be, and I'm sure with the way that he keeps chipping away at the development of the car, that's exactly what he's aiming at, a good result later in the year, and considers these races as just the perfect test bed. He was encouraged by the qualifying yesterday.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good race here, actually. 4th spot off the grid, but didn't get involved in all that hustle and bustle into the first corner, and was not unhappy to sit back for a little while and get the car wound up, and is now making his move, as we've seen after dicing for several laps with Jimmy Richards. Finally got past him, now in a position to mount a challenge on Andrew Bagnall. Then he'll have Larry Perkins in his sights, and then if he gets past Perkins, he's pushing for a placing here. He's start nibbling away at Tony Longhurst. It'd be a good result.
Well, Bagnall showed rather conclusively he's got a bit more stick in the engine department than Moffat last time down the straight. We'll see if he gets away from him going up the back straight this time.
Bagnall's performances so far are a bit patchy. An 8th in the first round, didn't finish at Simmons. 4th at Winton, 2 did not finish results from Wanneroo and Adelaide, and then a 9th last weekend. Had a couple of dramas last weekend as well. Look at the gap that he manages to put into this dice between himself and Alan Moffat. We've got the watch on Dick Johnson at the moment too, to see whether or not he's cruising and he's knocked the pace back, or whether he's still giving it plenty.
Well, Moffat is quicker through this part of the track. I don't know what to call this. You've driven it. What's it called? A mess. I thought I was a lone crusader.
No, it's like the Village Grand Prix.
Yeah. As I said, they're talking about going back to the old circuit, the top loop that brought them a bit closer to the spectators.
It looks great on paper, but for some reason it's very slow. I think the problem was there was an obsession trying to build in length in order to get a round of either the World Formula One or World Sports Car Championships, and I think length became the priority rather than track shape. Most of the drivers, I don't think I'm being overly critical, I hate just shooting my mouth off, but it's all first and second gear and snatch, snatch, snatch. It's very hard on diffs and gearbox. There's no more really good high-speed corners left in Australian motor racing. Surface is gone, and the great act under the bridge there has vanished forever, and it leaves Bathurst as the only place where you can really get some excitement out of your motor car.
It was a doomed experiment. to start with changing the circuit. I mean, put Formula One cars in here to try it would be a joke anyway. It would be the Village Grand Prix.
Well, Bagnall now moves up on the tail of Gerald Kay. He's got Larry Perkins just ahead of him.
All this end of the circuit's it's good, and all the drivers get really enthusiastic about the run up the back straight and this next series of hairpins, just where it tightens up in a couple of those spots. And I guess it's always easy to sit back and criticise, but there was a task at hand, and that was to get a 3.9 kilometre circuit here, and that's what we ended up with. And it's the same for everybody. Yep. Just got to get on with the job. But Larry Perkins is coming under a bit of pressure here at the moment from Andrew Bagnall. And Larry would be feeling the pinch. 1,350 kilogram motor car now starting to get a little bit soggy on its tyres. 1,100 kilogram Ford Sierra. It's looking a little bit sharper at this end of the race, and Larry disappears tomorrow, flies straight to England. I detailed earlier in our telecast the exciting plans that he has in the next couple of weekends, while we take a very brief break from Motorsport 88, and he's joining 14 drivers, a 14-driver squad in Tom Walkinshaw's Silk Cut Jaguar team for the all-time factory assault on the 24-hour race at Le Mans.
Look at Moffat lurking in there again behind Bagnall. Just waiting for these two to fall into his clutches, I feel. Bagnall a little taily going through that corner. Perkins has got away on him again, going through that part of the course. Straight line, let's see what Bagnall's horsepower can do for him. Moves over to the inside running. I don't know whether he's got the legs to get under. No, he hasn't.
He lost a bit of ground there, and he was well aware of it. He glanced up in his mirror and thought, wonder where Moffat is. Let's have a look at the Castrol scoreboard. Dick Johnson leads comfortably from John Bowe. Tony Longhurst still doing a great job in third. Then Larry Perkins, followed by Andrew Bagnall. We're back with the concluding stages of round 7 of the Shell Ultra Australian Touring Car Championship in just a tick.